Governor Greg Abbott revealed how prepared Texas would have been to handle a surge of asylum seekers and illegal immigrants if a border policy was lifted today, as President Biden had planned and wanted to. A legal challenge, though, keeps Title 42 in place for now. And Fox 4's Stephen Dial has more on the governor's visit today to the border. Stephen.
Steve, the Department of Homeland Security predicted 18,000 people a day coming to the border had Title 42 been lifted. Today, Governor Abbott touting his plan, Operation Lone Star, and saying that the president nor the vice president has contacted him during this entire crisis.
Title 42, the Trump-era border policy, would have been lifted Monday by the Biden administration, but last week, a federal judge ruled in a lawsuit from more than 20 states that it remain in effect. The policy allows the U.S. to immediately deport asylum seekers without first hearing their case because of pandemic concerns. The Department of Justice says it intends to appeal. The Department of Homeland Security predicted a surge of up to 18,000 asylum seekers a day at the southern border if Title 42 is repealed. According to Border Patrol statistics, most illegal immigrants and asylum seekers still try to cross in the Rio Grande Valley in South Texas, followed by Yuma, Arizona, then Southern California. The National Border Patrol Council says they are seeing 7,000 apprehensions a day.
Well, the good news is that a court very correctly ruled that Title 42 should not be lifted, which is a good thing. However, it's only a temporary result.
DHS argued that Title 42 was not meant to be used as an immigration tool. In response to the nonstop surge, Governor Abbott launched Operation Lone Star in March of 2021, sending thousands of Texas National Guard troops and DPS troopers to the border. Monday, the governor toured the border in Eagle Pass.
Operation Lone Star has now seized almost enough fentanyl to kill every man, woman, and child in the entire United States of America.
According to the Washington Post, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is currently investigating to determine if COVID relief funds the state received have been misused for the operation, after some congressional Democrats requested the investigation. Had Title 42 been lifted, we learned the Texas National Guard had a C-130 ready in Fort Worth.
It's in an alert status. That was in preparation for Title 42 to be dropped. Obviously, that did not occur. The purpose there would be to go pick up the contingency response force troops and bring them down to any point along the border to support any kind of civil disturbance.
Governor Abbott says Texas will continue to bus asylum seekers who volunteered to be dropped off in Washington, D.C. So far, 45 buses have gone, but he did not say how many asylum seekers were transported. Governor Abbott also is focusing on adding more razor wire along the border as a deterrent to those trying to cross. The governor claims with the added help by the Texas Guardsmen and troopers, the drug cartels are shifting some of their operation to other border states.
One thing we have found with the implementation of Operation Lone Star, it has shifted cartel activity to New Mexico, to Arizona, to California.
And the head of the Texas National Guard says that they have two contingency plans had Title 42 been lifted, or if it is eventually lifted, two contingency plans in reference to that C-130 being held right now in Fort Worth. And right now, because Title 42 is still in place, there is no increased security on the border as it pertains to Texas's response to border security.